Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Nightbird video. We've got so much to go through. If you haven't seen SmackDown, you might want to just wait because this is from SmackDown. SmackDown aired live in Europe, but of course is on tape delay in North America and Canada. Again, if you've not seen it, you might want to just wait. But I would imagine most of you have seen this by now. So basically, the QR code flashed up on screen, and when you scanned it, it took you to www.com/archive recovered, right? /archive recovered. And so then you get to this. This is a website that has been created, which is really cool. Really, really cool. I mean, honestly, we have been getting so much stuff from this Nightbird campaign. I really did not expect a whole website with all these links. And again, all this work, the amount of work that goes into this is staggering. I mean, we do have to just acknowledge that first of all. So, right, when you come to the website, let's walk through it, shall we? Up here, we've got a mention of a YouTuber, right? They've been doing a lot of this, you know, source codes and little mentions in tags. There's been lots of little mentions. You might remember Penfold getting mentioned from our community. Penfold finding that telephone call 24 hours before it featured in a QR code. And so he ended up in a source code. And it's just really cool. I mean, I like that they do this because it's a great way of them just letting people know we're watching and letting people know that, like, we see your theories, we see your thoughts, and so they just drop it in. I would like to see people people that don't have channels, just people that enjoy looking for stuff, you know. I suppose Penfold, really. I mean, I don't believe Penfold had one, but he found a clue 24 hours before he was meant to. And he got sneaky Penfold written in the source code. So I'd like to see a bit more of that. But I think it's a nice little acknowledgement of the work that everyone is doing, right? So we got that. Then we've got this kintsugi. Now, kintsugi is the repairing of pottery that's broken. And apparently I read that it's about making the original better. And I really like that. Apparently they use like gold and stuff to kind of repair broken pieces. And I really like that because it's making the original better. And you could argue that that's what we're trying to do with Dexter Lumis and Erick Rowan and Nikki Cross and Joe Gacy. We're trying to make what they were even better. So I really like that. And then up here, we've got a clip of me playing Nightbird, right? Not really, but you'll hear why I said that now. So this is the audio. That would be me giving it my best go, in all fairness. So there we go. I mean, I'm not very musically gifted, and apparently neither is the person that did this version. So there we go. We've got that up in the top corner. Then we've got an open door is a welcome that makes a stranger into a friend. That has featured before during this campaign. And can you keep it a secret is one of the last things that Bray said. So that's really cool that that features as well. Can you keep a secret? That was, I think, one of the last things he said on the Firefly Funhouse on the last episode. So is this the secret that he was going to share? You know, is this the history of Uncle Howdy? Is this where Uncle Howdy came from? Now, the general consensus is, and people are split on this, I did a poll online saying, who do you think this is? What do you think this is? Do you think this is Bray talking about Howdy? Or do you think this is Bo talking about Howdy? And honestly, it's like 40-odd% think it's Bo talking about Howdy. 40 odd percent think it's Bray talking about Howdy. There's a very small percentage thinking it's Bray talking about the Fiend, and then there's an even smaller percentage that don't think it's any of those, right? But the vast majority have gone, no, I think it's Bo, and a load of people have gone, no, I think it's Bray. And there are reasons as to why you would think either, right? I'm going to stay out this fight, right? I'm going to stay out of it. I'm going to say I don't know. I don't know, because I can see arguments for both. I think one of the big arguments for, say, Bo, well, there's a couple of arguments for Bo. I think the first argument for Bo is that he is Uncle Howdy. So if we're going to talk about the origins of Uncle Howdy, I think it's wise, and I think it's fair to assume that we're going to go back and try and understand how Bo met Uncle Howdy and how Howdy came into Bo's life, right? So I think that's a fair thing to assume. The other thing as well is down here, this feels like a big clue. It says all entries, right, are sorted chronologically. So that means in order, right? Starts in 2008 and it ends in 2024. So that means that is new. You can see new flashing away. That is new. That is from 2024, okay? And then if we go all the way up here, that would mean this is 2008, right? That these entries have been put onto this website. And the reason why that points to Bo is because Bo started in WWE in 2008. Apparently, Bray didn't start until 2009. Now, of course, Bray could have started this website in 2008, but that 2008, it feels like a nod to Bo. Feels like a nod to Bo. And Bo is the person that we're going to be seeing playing Uncle Howdy, of course. Is the only person we've been seeing play that character, to our knowledge. And so I really think trying to learn about when Howdy came into Bo's life, that probably should be the focus here. That probably should be the information that we need, right? So I think there's a lot of reasons to go, yeah, it makes sense that this would be Bo telling us about how Howdy came into his life, right? The reasons for Bray are because, and there's a big one, in the documentary, the Bray documentary, it's revealed that Uncle Howdy came to Bray in a dream as a kid. And this starts off with that story, right? There is someone who dreams and sees Howdy, or we think Howdy, in their dreams. So you can't help but read that and go, I think that's Bray, right? Knowing what we know from that documentary, I think that's Bray. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll walk through it. I don't have a dog in this fight, right? I can tell you there's a good theory going around that, and we will look at theories after we've kind of walked through this. There's a good theory going around that this bit is Bray, and then it gets taken over around here, and it goes on to Bo, right? So I like that. It could be a case it is actually both. Or it could be a case it's all, well, it can't all be Bray, because we believe that there is where Bray passes away, right? That entry feels like Bray's passing. So if it is Bray, it can only be to there. That one is about Bray passing away. So it can't all be Bray. It could all be Bo, but it could be Bray into Bo, right? I know that we've spent a little bit of time explaining that, but it is a key part of what we're about to look at. I mean, I would say it's the biggest mystery. Who is talking about who? So let's go into this first one then. It says here, why didn't I trust him, right? When I was a kid, I would see him in my dreams. Sometimes I wouldn't know if I was awake or still dreaming, and sometimes I still don't. Don't forget, this was written in 2008. Right, so that's sometimes I still don't. That's not someone writing it now. So it can be Bray that wrote that. He didn't try to harm me, but I was afraid. I didn't trust him. Why was he always there? I convinced myself he lived in that house, but everywhere I went, he followed me. Grown-ups said it was my imagination. The loneliness of not being believed. I never felt so alone. I didn't ever want anyone to feel like that again. Is that Bray? Is that Bo? We know that Bray had that dream as a kid, but as we said, if they want to give this backstory to Bo now, right, as a way of explaining how it came into his life, this could fit for him as well, couldn't it? So it makes it a little bit tricky. So we've got that one. That's why didn't I trust him? Then we've got learning. I thought when I got older, he would go away. I did my best to ignore him, but he was always there, whispering in my ear. I decided to chase him in my dreams, but the more I looked, the deeper he hid. Whenever I try to imagine his face, the only thing I can see is my own, and that feels big, that line, right? That feels big. I thought, why does he torment me? I didn't understand. Whenever I try to imagine his face, the only thing I can see is my own. Remember that. So that was learning. Then we've got overlap. I started keeping a dream journal. Sounds fun. I would go to sleep in my bed, then wake up sitting at my desk with my journal in my hands. He showed me the truth, even when my eyes were closed. So whoever this is walking around and making notes whilst they're seemingly asleep, right? And that could be a bit of a possession, couldn't it? I mean, I don't know if we're dealing with like a split personality here, or if actually what we're dealing with is more of a possession. But I do like the title of this being overlap. It's where these personas are overlapping. It's where the one goes to sleep, the other takes over the body. So I feel like that's probably why it's the title. I found my journal, right? This is a star that's spinning around here. Don't know quite why. But here, look, I found my journal. I took pictures of the entries. He told me to remember who you are. So let's have a look at this journal then. Now, don't forget, this was the journal of when they was a kid. Okay, this is when they were young. So that's why the handwriting is so bad, because they are a kid here. And it is bad. I saw him, and the more I tried to chase him, the more he told me he didn't exist. I'm going to find you, and you will teach me, or you will tell me your secrets. When I saw him, time and energy stopped, but I never really... Don't know what that word is. I don't know what that is. Own him? I never really... I don't know. When I saw him, time and energy stopped, but I never really something him. Answers as to what you think that word is there. Own? But that's not a... I don't know. It's tricky. I was thankful he let me see him because he is before time or any of us. That's where he lives, and I love that. He lives in the middle of the circle. If the circle is life... The circle of life, you're born, you live, you die, you're born, you live, you know, reincarnation, all of that kind of stuff. We just go round and we go round and we go round. Well, he lives in the middle. You can't get to him. You'll never see him or get to him. Oh, such a weird way to think about life, isn't it? So weird. So weird that we're just going round and round, but he lives in the middle. We can't see him. We can't get to him. That's mind-blowing. I love that. He saw the parts of me that I tried to hide, and he said, that's okay, because he had them too. He lives there. Right? Can I just point this out? That looks a little bit like a door. Can you see that just look? I mean, it might just be squares, but that does get a little bit like a square there. And that just makes me wonder if the door that we keep hearing being spoken about and the doors that we see and doors being opened, you know, is that kind of where it can lead to, the center of the circle? You can't find him unless he wants you to find him. He is in the shadow, and he's always been there. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but something... Can you just see a face here? Right, we're about to get to it. I think he's right in this. Now, do you remember earlier I said, remember this line? Whenever I try to imagine his face, I can only see my own. What I'm thinking is, you look at this and you don't see Howdy, do you? And you look at this and you don't see the Fiend. But I look at this and I think, if I'm a kid, am I seeing myself? I'm trying to see what it looks like, but all I can keep seeing is me. And I wonder if that's why this just does not look like Howdy and it just does not look like The Fiend. But they did tell us that earlier, didn't they? Every time I look at this face, I just see myself. There's some out there that think this could be Joe Gacy that's right in this, but I just don't think this fits for Gacy. I think the only reason people think this might be Gacy is because they've looked at this and gone, well, this reminds me a bit of his mask. This is a little bit like the mask he wears. But I wonder if it can be explained by the fact that the person, the kid that is right in this, could never see the face of Howdy. And so the only thing they could draw was their own. Now I wonder if he is me. That's interesting, isn't it? To follow up what we've just said. Now I wonder if he is me, or if that's what he wants me to think. And then that is a bit of the background. We'll come back to that, actually. We'll come back to that because that is interesting. Right? Might not look interesting, but it's interesting. It's a piece of this background. We're going to get to it. Okay, so that was all these journal entries. So, to be free. I am nobody. I am all of us. Right? So that's to be free. Then we've got I am. I accepted, but kept him hidden for a long time. Wearing a mask of your own face brings you sorrow. But if they saw, they wouldn't understand. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing. I hope I am a good man. So this is really interesting. This right now is probably like when Bray is in the Wyatt family, when Bo is in NXT, is like NXT champ, and, you know, he's doing the whole Bo leave thing. I mean, at this point, neither of them are wearing masks. So wearing a mask of your own face brings you sorrow. Again, it could be either at this point. Could be either. Purpose. Sometimes you have to hurt people to heal people. Sometimes that person is yourself. Now I understand. Now I see. Now, this definitely leans to Bray, doesn't it? This, at this point, you go, well, that's it, done. Hurt, heal, that's Bray, yeah? The only thing I would say with this is, I agree, this definitely leans to Bray. But it could be Bo in the sense of Bo is watching Bray hurt and heal people, right? He is watching it. So, yes, hurt and heal is the Fiend. It is Bray. But who is right in this? Is it Bray that's right in this? Or is it Bo that is watching Bray that is right in this? You know, sometimes you have to hurt people to heal people. Sometimes that person is yourself. Now I understand. Now I see. So he's observed what Bray has done, his brother has been doing, and now he has learned from it. So I'm just pointing out that this still fits, that it could be Bo, because this was a key one that people went, no, this is Bray, look, hurt, heal. And it's like, yeah, but just because it mentions hurt, heal, that is definitely about the Fiend, but that doesn't mean that this has been written by Bray, you know? Right, that was purpose. Let's go to truth. The chosen one, born to set them free. There was no monster. It was always me. I got to admit, this one feels very Bray to me. I mean, Bray did let go. Luke Harper set him free. He let Rowan free as well. You could even say he set the puppets free with them appearing in the Extreme Rules, right? And here he's saying there was no monster. It was always me. I do wonder about that line, and if that is him admitting that the Fiend was there, but he was always in control. I mean, he would make out the Fiend was his darkness, right? And he didn't feel any pain anymore. But he kind of made out that the Fiend consumed him. And, you know, he always spoke about the Fiend being a different character, being a different person, really. I remember him apologizing to Finn Balor, saying, I thought what the Fiend did to you was, I think he went too far. And he spoke about the Fiend as if it was this other person. And is this the secret? There was no monster. It was always me. That's interesting to think about. If that is Bray, that is interesting to think about. That was purpose. So that was truth, sorry. Then we got the prodigal son. Now, I'm very confident this is about Luke Harper, right? I know it's you on your way back home. The hair shall light your path. I will be waiting on the other side. So I feel like that is about Luke Harper. You can actually put Luke Harper in Prodigal Son, and it does bring back some results. So we know that Harper passing away, Brody passing away would be a massive moment, would be a big moment. I mean, that having its own entry, I think makes sense. Unveiled, right? Now, I gotta be honest, this one makes me think Bo, right? Because do not lie to me. Do not lie to yourself. We've worn our masks long enough, brother. Revel in what you are. That is what Uncle Howdy used to say. Revel in what you are. And so this feels like Howdy has written this. Feels like Howdy has written this. And so, like, do not lie to me, like, liar, and all of that stuff. So as much as that one up here felt like it was Bray, that one feels like it's Bo, to be honest with you. Then we've got she, right? Which we believe this is about Alexa. When she speaks, mountains should tremble. It's waiting for her. I can only open the door. She must choose to walk through. I mean, to be honest, this feels like it's Howdy as well. This feels like it's Howdy. I wonder if we got up to this point here and then Howdy... Is this from Howdy now? I wonder if it's not Bo that takes over. I wonder if this is Bray and then it goes into Howdy. I mean, the way that he talks about Alexa, you know, the way that he says about revel in what you are and everything. Bray could stop when he talks about Brody. And then that moment there is where we then get Howdy talking. So that's Unveiled. That is she. This is now Bray's passing. This is Bray's passing, right? I believe this. Someone pointed out that translated, that means the end. There is a sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. A choir of tears sings of you forever. So I don't know if that is Bo or if that is Howdy, but I have no doubt that is the end, and that is the entry that would have been put in for the end of Bray. So now that Bray has passed, we need a new purpose, and that's what we get, right? I find solace in the words of the Red, and we believe that to be Bray. I looked closer. The prophecy became clear. I am the catalyst, the healer, the shepherd. I will set them free. I will give them life. So this is his new purpose now. Let me go into the 4, right? So this is titled 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Hex, Nikki Cross. This one searched for a friend. She found none. So she stared into the abyss, hoping someone would glance back, and still no one cared. I will lead her out of darkness, but let her keep the darkness inside. This is Truncheon. And people have said, is this going to be their new names? I hope not. I don't need any of these to be called Truncheon, right? This one brings me joy. He already knows the way. He will behold the wrath, drown in his inflictions. So we think that's Rowan, because Rowan has been there before, so he already knows the way. So we think that one is Rowan. Then we've got Prey, right? This one is loyal. His family were not. The vultures picked at him until he was made anew. I see what he can become. I see. Lots of split opinion on this. This one could be Gacy and Schism, or it could be Dexter and his family. I think this one is Dexter, personally. I think it's Dexter. I think when it talks about this one being loyal, you know, he got married to Indy, and his family, I mean, was his family. I mean, that was Indy Hartwell. That was his wife. That was his family. So I feel like that is a bit stronger than just what Schism had right? So I'm going to say that that one is Dexter, but I'm quite happy to be wrong and say that that could be Joe Gacy. And then we got this one, Spark, right? This one was abandoned, left for dead. Joe Gacy was abandoned by Schism, right? He begged for approval and was beaten instead. I will show you how to be free. You're safe now. So if I was a betting man, I'd say that one was Gacy. Then we've got this, look, family, and it is like an eclipse is the logo next to this one, right? So if we click on family, it says, we are whole. We have become complete. We can't wait to show you how beautiful we have become. So that is the family coming together. So they are together. They are united, right? Let's go for empathy. Where is your empathy? All they want is a chance. You reject them without merit. You pray for their demise. What sadness do you mask? What worm consumed your heart? I hope you find solace. I hope you find peace. I think that is really interesting because who are they talking to there? Who are they talking to? I mean, we're excited for this arrival. We're excited that they've all got together. I've not seen much negativity about, like, you know, what they're doing. So who are they talking to? All they want is a chance, and you reject them without merit. Who is rejecting this new group? It comes after they've got together. Who's rejected them? Who's rejected them? That feels like an important question to answer. Then we've got this one, right? Establishment. It seems every week there is another. I wish to vanquish them. I mean, I wonder, it says establishment. So is this people in power? That's the establishment, isn't it? People in power. So is that who is rejecting them without merit? These people in power. It seems every week there is another that gets in their way. I wish to vanquish them, but I must give them time to repent. I wish I was there already with all of you, but I can't be selfish. A lack of repentance carries a heavy price. Please give me just a little longer. You understand, right? And obviously that's not a great sign for this weekend, is it? So not a great sign, but now we've got the latest one. This is 2024, right? They're talking about us now. We finally got their attention. Let us savor this, and we will show you signs and wonders. So again, that one, not brilliant, because they're saying they're being spoken about. Let us enjoy this moment. Let us enjoy being spoken about. And then we will show you signs and wonders, right? So it's a journey, isn't it? It's a journey from 2008 going all the way to 2024. We touch on, I believe, Harper passing, Bray passing, the 4 members, the future, the arrival of Uncle Howdy, but we just don't know if this is Bray or if it's Bo. Like, there is so much in here. It is so good. It is so good. So that was everything. In the source codes, I mean, I can't remember if we spoke about it or not, but in the source codes there was Jackal MD. I actually haven't seen anyone work that out yet. A few people saying, could it be something to do with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? Could it be something like that? Split personality thing, you know? Which I think is a good shout, but I don't know why they would call it Jackal. I don't know that Jekyll was ever known as Jackal, so I don't know. Is it something like that? It's very difficult. I mean, that's probably the best thing that I've seen get mentioned, but yeah, no one has seemingly worked that out. All the rest of it looks above board, to be honest. All the rest of it seems fine. It's all the code that you have to create that web page, right? So if you wanted to know how to create what you just saw, this is all the code that you would need for that, right? So that is all fine. And I think they always put it in green, the bits they really want to stand out. So that's all of that. Let's go off this page, right? What we're going to do now is we're going to flip over, going to go down. We're going to really blast through I want to jump into, here we go. I want to jump into this. We're going to blast through this. This is all the thoughts and everything. I mean, a lot of what I've just said, a lot of the stuff that we've just gone through, that is an amalgamation of all the information that have been sent through, all the conversations that I've had. So I want to go through, we're going to have a look at what people said, pick up on bits we've not spoke about, give credit where it's due, and kind of work our way through, right? So Wrestling Rian, absolutely killing this. Killing this. Right, I think this is brilliant. So let's go full screen on here. So here's Wrestling Rian saying, right, journal theory. The journal entries start with the words of Wyndham Bray finding his character, then becoming a cult leader, then the Fiend returning, sadly passing, and then from owari, we know it goes to Bo and Howdy. So here, look, Wrestling Rian saying this all looks to be Wyndham, right? So that all looks to be Wyndham. That looks to be about maybe Huskus and about Bray, cult leader, right? This is now where he's becoming Eater of Worlds. And then down here, this is where he's becoming the Fiend. And so, you know, Wrestling Rian kind of going through what we've just gone through. So very good. I mean, excellent. I mean, I would say you need to be following Wrestling Rian. Absolutely killing it. Slam X doing an incredible job as well. I mean, there's just so much good stuff. I mean, here, look, Hydra Stomp saying really good work. The only thing I would touch on is that prodigal son is a reference to the passing of Luke Harper. So all of these people killing it. You need to make sure that they're all on your radar, right? So let's click off that and let's go back to the normal size. Adarsh said, we are yet to see them meet in Howdy, but in today's archive, they have met. We could see them meet each other on the next Twitch stream. Clash could be the end game. The note says he is before time. Can he travel through time? For time might be a flat circle. I thought that was very interesting. I mean, I don't know that he can travel through time. I mean, I don't know how that works. I love the idea he lives in the center of the circle, though. And so I don't know about the whole time travel thing, but that's certainly what it said in that journal, didn't it? I think that this is going to be very deep. I think that it might lose a few people, but I think for those that stick with it, I think you're going to find this very enriching, right? I love the depth of what we've just gone through there. I think that was absolutely brilliant. And then you think about like an hour-long therapy session that we had and the notes, we saw all the notes that got written. I mean, when you actually put the whole story together and you put all the pieces together, I mean, we have been on a journey during this Nightbird thing, haven't we? We've really been on a journey. And obviously it's all building and we're getting closer to their arrival. But yeah, after seeing that, it doesn't feel like it's going to be this weekend. Kevin said, inspired by the Heaven's Gate website. Amazing, right? So this is what we were talking about. So let's open it up as a separate link. So this website you've seen has been inspired by this. Look at this. So if we go up here, this is the Heaven's Gate, the same background, the same layout. It's the same, right? So this is Heaven's Gate, right? As was promised, the keys to Heaven's Gate are here again. And I believe that this is... Am I right in saying that this was like a cult? Heaven's Gates. It was a religious group, yeah. They committed suicide in 1997. They are designated as a cult. How amazing. This is their website. And the members all committed suicide, thinking that they were going to go, obviously, to a higher plane. And all this website, their website is still available. So this is their website from 1997. I mean here, last chance to evacuate Earth before it's recycled. 70-minute video from 1996. Planet Earth is about to be recycled. Your only chance to survive, leave with us. That was 1996. It's really scary, isn't it, when you think about it? I mean, look at this, like, it's about to be recycled. This fear-mongering, these lies. And, you know, I mean, this is 28 years ago. 28 years ago. So dark, innit? Dark. But they've made the website look like this. Doesn't look like that thing at the top has been the same. It's a red alert, though, guys. Serious red alert. But there we go. That is the Heaven's Gate thing, and that is just incredible. That is just incredible. Didn't even know that was still active. Didn't even know that was still a thing. I've heard about the group, but I didn't even know they had a website, to be honest. So there we go, Kevin. Shout out to you. Right, so here's Jana. Says, Hex Nikki Cross, yes. Truncheon Rowan, yes. Prey Dexter, yes. Spark Joe Gacy, yes. I agree with that. Not sure on Truncheon, but the rest I can go with. New names? Oh, I wouldn't. Not for me. Not for me. I don't mind. I'm not a fan of any of them. I mean, Spark has got a little bit of butch about it for what we just did with Pete Dunne. So, I don't know. Those kind of names, Truncheon, Hex, Spark, they just make me think a little bit of Retribution. So, I wouldn't go that way personally. But it does kind of beg the question, why have we gone with those, you know? I mean, hex is something a witch puts on someone. Like, they put a hex on you. It's like a curse. So I wonder if, like, we're going to lean into the witch thing for Nikki Cross. Truncheon is obviously a weapon. So I wonder if we're going to be leaning into, like, you know, Rowan being the enforcer or something like that. Prey doesn't make much sense, does it? I can't see how that fits. And Spark, he could be the energetic one, yeah? So I could maybe get that for Joe Gacy, but Prey for Dexter Lumis. How do these connect? I really don't think these are their names. I really don't. But how did they connect? Right, this is Or Hollows, who said, look at Parade of Planets. On 6/3/24, 6 planets are going to line up in the sky for a rare cosmic event. I think something significant is going to happen on Raw for Uncle Howdy Nightbirds. That is really interesting, isn't it? So apparently on the 3rd of June, which is apparently a Raw, right, 6 planets are going to line up in the sky for a rare cosmic event. And obviously when you see the background of what we just looked at that website, and there is a theory as well that, you know, those coordinates that were mentioned during the Twitch stream, if you actually map them out, there is a theory that those might have been a constellation. If you actually draw lines, you might be able to match it up with a constellation. We've had a quick look and we can't find anything, but it's such a good theory. I think it really is a really great theory. So all of a sudden now we're starting to get into stars and constellations and stuff like that. So I think that's quite interesting, these 6 planets lining up on the 3rd. Right, Jason Baker is left-handed. So Vicky, shout out to you. I don't know that they would have Jason Baker write those notes, because I feel like the person writing the notes is going to be part of the group. And I'm sure that Jason is going to be an honorary member. He is the guy that makes all the masks, and, you know, he was a great friend of Bray's, and he's been, like, you know, right there with Bo. I mean, I don't think that they would think twice about having him come in and have a little cameo. Like, if they need someone to help and be a part of the entrance, or I think wasn't he the Fiend at Extreme Rules? When Bray came back, they needed a Fiend in the crowd. I think that was Jason. So Jason is definitely a key player, but he's not a wrestler. So I don't know if we can find a role for Jason, but maybe you're right. Maybe the letters were written by Jason. We're sat here trying to figure out, is it Uncle Howdy? Is it Alexa? Maybe it turns out to be Jason. That would be not disappointing, because Jason deserves to be a part of this, but I think people would like it to be someone that they could stand a chance of guessing, you know? There's probably a lot of people that don't know Jason. They don't know Jason, so obviously that makes it hard to guess that it was Jason. But yeah, I think that's a great shout, Vicky. Great shout. So Dersh said this is the star image. So in the background of the website, you've got just this image constantly repeated, right? And apparently it's come from this Owman website. How good is that? So I think they had to get this because it's the same one that Heaven's Gate uses. But the fact it came from Owman, the website Owman, I think that is so random. I think that's so much fun. Owl being, you know, a bird which comes out at night. This is interesting. We're not going to touch on this too long, but that word at the top, that has featured before, and it's got its own URL. If you put wwe.com/ and then actually go to that kintsugi, right? Then you do actually go to a different place. In fact, we can do it right now, right? You get this video, and then down here, well, down here, there is a word, right? Now, I believe that this, there we go. This is one that's featured before. Lagrange point. Now, the reason why I think so many people have not seen this one, right, including myself, actually, is because this dropped during, I think, NXT. This was the NXT one, right? Which not many people were expecting. Some people might not even know it happened, but this one dropped during NXT. I think it was the NXT just before Backlash, and they hadn't been doing them on NXT. So this one dropping on NXT caught a load of people by surprise. So to my knowledge, this has not changed, right? To my knowledge, this isn't new or anything like that. This is actually an old QR code, right? And so I think this one has already been worked out, to be honest. So this Lagrange point, or Lagrange point, however you pronounce it, that has been worked out as like a few things, but this is very interesting. So there are 5 special points where a small mass can orbit in a constant pattern with 2 larger masses, right? The points are positions where the gravitational pull of 2 larger masses precisely equal the centrifugal force required for a small object to move with them. So you've got the sun, you've got the earth, and then you've got this other object. So it's showing you that for the Lagrange points, right, you've got these 5 points here. They don't make it easy, do they? But this Lagrange point, right, that is... I've got so many tabs open. That is an example of it, right? And there's 5 points, apparently. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because we're expecting 5 people. So people are wondering if it was just a little nod to that, right? If it was just a little nod towards 5 people coming in. The other thing people are wondering is, you know, could this have been a little bit of an indicator that it's actually Alexa and Bo working together? Could it be that it's Alexa and Bo, and then we've got these other smaller characters that are going to play a part as well? I mean, I wonder if that could be Alexa, that could be Bo, that could be Nikki Cross, that could be Dexter Lumis, that could be Erick Rowan, that could be Joe Gacy, that might be Jason Baker over there, just doing his own thing. So, yeah, there's a few things to take from this. But as I said, I believe it's be an older QR code, that one. Here's Kintsugi. So Yaz says, at the top of the website in the QR code today was the word kintsugi, animated with blue and red. So kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending the areas of breakage with lacquer, dusted or mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. The method is similar to maki technique. So there we go. That is kintsugi. And I read that it's about trying to make the original even better. Right, Nick said, kintsugi is the art of repairing pottery with gold, silver, and platinum, all the materials that WWE belts are made from. That was good. Ghosted said, instead of just used in a modified song, they've put a script in. So apparently that song is just, you know, the glitched, messed up song on the website. They didn't just re-record it. It apparently goes through all these different commands and it just messes up a normal version of the song. It's not important. I just thought it was really interesting. I don't really get how these things work, But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Right, here, Jackal MD said, Dan. Yeah, haven't really got anywhere with it, to be honest. Haven't seen any theories on it either, other than Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but I still don't know how Jackal MD fits into that. MD, of course, is a medicine doctor, so a doctor of medicine. So you could say Dr. Jackal. You could say that instead of Jackal MD, I believe. So you could go with Dr. Jackal, but I don't know quite how that gets us to Dr. Jekyll. So, I don't know, that's still the closest that we've got, but still a little bit on the dark on that one. I even looked on Reddit to see if there was a user that went by that name, but I couldn't see anything. King Joker said, I divided the locations to the left, the middle, and the right, which gave me 216, which is the Cleveland area codes. So you might remember these locations from the coordinates. Well, what King Joker did is he cut the country into 3. 2 of them were over there. 1 of them was in the middle. 6 were over on the other side. And so he went, well, 216. That gave him the area code for Cleveland, which is SummerSlam. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So I really like that from King Joker. Oli said, owari means maybe this story is coming to an end. Well, we think that that was for Bray. So we think that that was the end of Bray's story, his time on this planet. So that's why I think it was called that. I think the posts that come after kind of let us know that that was them recruiting the members that we're about to see. And, you know, the only bit I don't get is who are they angry with? It says the establishment, that they didn't give them a chance. I mean, is that the creative department? Is that Triple H? I mean, I could understand them being upset with Vince, but Vince isn't around anymore. And you can't really blame Nick Khan, you know? So, I don't know. It's interesting. Brandon said, owari is a providence in Japan. Could it mean something like this? So this was a piece of art that Bray shared, which apparently has got, like, Japanese influence. I mean, it is interesting that they chose to use the Japanese words. I agree with you on that. I don't think it really means anything other than the end and Bray's passing, personally. But I think it's fair to look into it and wonder why it was the Japanese word they used. It's not the most likely word to use. Anime Fiend Zeno said SmackDown glitches in the Dome at Jeddah. So they got those. Right, this is the eclipse, you know, that I think was next to family, I believe. All the others were Pluto symbols, but the logo next to family was this eclipse. So SlamX said this GIF is titled Anu, and it can be found next to family entry on the website. So that's a great find, man. That is so good. This is called Anu. How amazing for SlamX to find that. I think that's incredible. So the title of this GIF is called Anu, and it's next to the family post. So good. SlamX, you've killed it, mate. Killed it. Don't you ever change. Josh Ward said, I ran through an anagram solver. I got Jackdaw, which could be the bird from the Flashes with the symbol. So Jackdaw might have been hidden in the QR codes. I think I looked at this and there was a letter that was missing. Can't quite remember what one it was. Oh, yeah, it was the Jackal MD. Put Jackal MD in, and the closest thing that came back was Jackdaw, which is a bird in all fairness. But yeah, tricky. It doesn't use all the right letters or anything. So I'm not sure it's that, but I thought it was interesting. That was the closest word it could find. But that Jackal MD is being really stubborn. Sean said, I would like to give my take on the Howdy thing. Connects with the allegory of the cave. I think it's a depiction of our own TVs. We are the prisoners. We are the ones that stop reading into fake news and fake images. Then we would be set free. For example, I still believe that this is Bray and his work. I don't know what you mean by this is Bray. I mean, it is his work in the sense of that's what he's left behind. I mean, I really don't think there's going to be any reveal that Bray is still with us. I'm giving that 0%. But I think that I agree with you in the sense of you know, those prisoners were looking at pictures being projected onto a wall, and they just, that was their worlds. And in many ways, that is like us watching TV. We are watching just pictures on a screen, you know, just like those people in a cave. So I think that's a really interesting point, which is why I wanted to include it. So very good. Right, what letter do you see in his left eye? That is true. Look, Harry here pointing out that looks like a H in the left eye there. I mean, again, could be summer, might be nothing, but that is very interesting. So, heel, whoop that heel, shout out to you. The heckler said, I think the first half of the journal are Bray Wyatt's words. He said in an interview that Uncle Howdy came to him in his childhood. The second half is what Uncle Howdy wrote, and it shows 2008 to 2024. So, heckler, shout out to you. Lunatic Legend said, Daze, I was thinking the other day, what if Nightbird and Pluto are two different people? And I really like that. I think that's really good. I mean, I could see Nightbirds being like Alexa, and maybe Pluto is going to be, like, you know, the symbol for Bo. And we have seen the two of them intertwined, haven't we? We have seen the bird in, like, the Pluto symbol. Maybe they've been telling us all along that there's two big, you know, symbols, two big logos, two big leaders. And now we're starting to see that maybe that is Alexa and Bo. Rizo said in the documentary, Bray's sister said Bray would often tease her when they were children about a monster in the cupboard. The monster had a name. She wouldn't share it with us. I think that monster was Uncle Howdy, said Rizo. Roni said, does this explain why we saw Bo and why Bo writes with his right hand and the figure on Twitch wrote with his left? A dual personality within one person. Left side is evil, right side is good. Hurt, heal. I really like that. I like the idea that, you know, depending on who is, like, you know, if it's Bo that's writing, he'll use his right hand, but if Howdy has took over, then he's using his left. That's interesting to think about, isn't it? Ethan said Bo started wrestling in 2008. Yeah, I can't shake that date at the bottom, man. And then Hydra Stomper said, this is what I was talking about. So I think the person who's writing the notes is Jason Baker. I'm no handwriting expert, but if you look at the lean on the words in both pictures, there's some similarities. So there we go. This is another argument that it could be Jason Baker. So Hydra Stomper, shout out to you, my friends. We've got a few pages just to look at as well. A few thoughts. People saying, I think it's this, I think it's that. So Bailey said, all the numbered ones are for the different members, which I agree with you on that, Bailey. Colin said, given it's a dishonorable shadow quality, consider your Pluto sign the placement you hide from others, except maybe your therapist. Your Pluto sign also determines transformation, your thirst for power, and your proclivity to upheaval, but it also signals rebirth. So rebirth kind of makes sense, Bo having the rebirth symbol, because he's been away for so long. You know, in many ways, this is his rebirth. I know he came back as Uncle Howdy, but maybe the fact that we saw more of his face than Howdy's face says that we're going to get more of Bo this time. So it is the rebirth. AWE Hallows said, if you look up the Parade of Planets, oh, we've read that one. I'll put that in here as well. Brady said, I think this one might be Alexa. So this establishment one. So thinking that that could be about Alexa, talking about just giving a little bit more time. Maybe. So Wrestling Rianne saying thinks that one is Joe Gacy, thinks this one is Dexter Lumis, which I agree with. That one, Rowan, which I agree with. Alexa Bliss, I agree with that, Brady, definitely. Here's Metal Mama. She says, why didn't I trust him? When I was a kid, I would see him in my dreams, right? It's that first line, basically. So these lyrics, interpreted by me, delve into childhood dreams, a recurring figure, and adults. So here, look, Metal Mommy is saying this first opening page, right, which kind of talks about seeing this person in their dreams, which we think is Bray seeing Howdy or Bo seeing Howdy. It's really interesting because as it goes down, it talks about how grown-ups said it was my imagination. And there was this image that flashed up at the start of the Twitch stream, which could be a grown-up talking to a child, kind of saying it's just your imagination. I kind of think that's really interesting, that could connect to that. I agree with Metal Mommy there. I agree. And then we've got this. Look, this is Ali saying, is that the connection? And I've seen a lot of people making that connection. I personally don't think so. I just don't think it fits the rest of the page, if you will. But I've seen a lot of people making that point. So, yeah, I like it all the same. Right, and then I've got a few bits just from our live stream. I don't know if we've touched on all of these, but Tame Impasta, who killed it, I mean, was so good on our live stream. Tame Impasta was the one who said about the Owlman website and found that background image. So, and said as well, there's one red star on it. There's one red star. Can you see? Just there, one red star. All the rest is normal apart from that one red star. Sean Arsenal was talking about kintsugi and said that it's actually in the Bible as well. Apparently it's in Corinthians and has got quite an interesting point to it. I really like the Japanese repairing, to be honest, but apparently kintsugi's got a few interesting connections. Nita Nitro spoke about the Japanese repairing. IDXK Dom mentioned about the kintsugi and pointed out if you put that into the URL, it takes you to a video. But as we said, I think that was one that we've had before. Moldy Spoon spoke and said about how Howdy appeared to Bray in his dreams in the documentary. Kieran Martin spoke about the fact that the Lagrange point has got 5 points, which we looked at. Blake Crossley said photo 10, look at the flooring. So here's photo 10 and you can see the floor. Now I know that might point towards, I mean, I don't think it's Alexa's floor. It might be like the therapist's floor. I mean, it is interesting to think who took this picture, where is it being taken? So I like the fact people are looking at the flooring, trying to match it up and all of that. I don't really think we get too much from it personally, but I really like the idea. Thomas Jadwin spoke about the coordinate positions, right? And the constellations, which I really liked. And Cardmaster as well spoke about that. So that was everything, my friends. There was so much in this one. I mean, we've looked at the source code. There weren't loads in there. We obviously have had to go down like all of those pages. I mean, so much stuff. Really, really fascinating one, this one. There was so much stuff for us to get our teeth into. And that, I mean, the fact it was based on that was just incredible. Incredible work. So NIGHTBIRD just continues delivering. And that's it, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to pack it with as much information as possible. And I'm sure there will be more. I'm sure there'll be more. But then tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be another QR code. And who knows, we might get Bug, right? But as we're sat here right now, I don't think that's where we're going. And I know that might be a bit disappointing, but I think they said, you know, can you just bear with us? And I think that if they were going to arrive tomorrow, I feel like they would have made it a lot more obvious. I think there would have been like something in there that was even more, I'll see you tomorrow, something connected with King and Queen of the Ring and all of that stuff, you know? And it just wasn't, so disappointing in a way. But I'm loving the QR codes and I'm fine for them to continue for a bit. And maybe the plan is they arrive at Clash at the Castle. Right, awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.